now, so I remember to record. Jaden, pick a month, any month. Also, I would like to point out that I now own April's Humble Bundle. That is the newest Humble Bundle. And there are some good ones. April then, okay. Okay. I have sports racing simulation or indie RPG strategy. Let me give away a game first. What's it going to be? Racing one sounds cool. Okay. Give me a private message with an email address. There we go. I realize that you could just look at what April 2021's Humble Bundle is and pretty much determine what game you're getting. But you know what? I don't care. So you are now the proud owner of F1 2020 or Formula One racing for 2020. It's the most comprehensive Formula One game yet, putting players firmly in the driving seat as they are against the best drivers in the world. Players can create their F1 team by creating a driver, then choosing a sponsor, an engine supplier, hiring a teammate, and competing as the 11th team on the grid. So that's a big one. Next, Sean wants to know, could I maybe give some tips for the Right Club? Honest to God, what's the Right Club again? I forget. It's Barks, JRPG Barks for Shakespeare. Keep them short. There are by far enough Shakespeare. Well, you've got however many plays. How many Shakespeare plays are there? There's how many plays did Shakespeare write? Hey, that 37 plays. You got 37 plays. I guess you better get reading because you have until midnight.
Plus, the sonnets.
And the sonnets. The free Epic game has changed. Something just dinged at me. What dinged at me? I have so many things that can possibly ding at me that I don't even know. And now something else dinged at me. I don't know. Whatever. What's the new free Epic game? I can look. Store. What's the new free Epic game? Free games. Where is it? No. Free games. Epic Champions of Renown pack for Idle Champions. I don't care. Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realm. Okay. It's one of those idle games. If it's close to a quote from the source material, is that bad? No, it is not. But it should be evocative of both, hey, we want a battle, and a Shakespeare quote. So you could change Shakespeare. I know it seems, I don't know, blasphemous. But what is Pine? I don't even know what the hell these games are. But you want to not just say, take a quote and plop it in there. Although if it's a good quote, could go all right. But maybe give it a little twist. Once again, remember, I mean, I would go look at, let's see, JRPG Victory Bark. Final Fantasy victory sounds. Let's see. How do you, it's on Imager and it's just an image that says Final Fantasy victory sound. I don't know. Let's do videos. Twisted Light. These are all just go watch some JRPG footage and just fast forward to the end and watch what they say. In like 5 or 6 years, I'm worried about doing bad on the last right club. It's only 2 points, right? So actually, yeah, Midsummer Night's Dream is fine, but I would go to the history plays where there are lots of battles, right? So Richard III has a pretty good some good battles. Macbeth, I'm not in the theater, has some pretty good battles. The Henry V, can't go wrong with Henry V. You could even do the Roman one.
This is Saint Crispin's Day.
Yes. I fun story, right? For a game, I had to write. They were like, okay, we need the general to address the troops before the big battle. You need to write a stirring speech to so that he can get everybody very excited, right? So I write this stirring speech, and the lead designer is like, I don't know, it's not. Can you do more? Can you do more inspiring, please? Like, it's okay, but I'm not really inspired. All right. So I go back. I'm like, okay, I'll get more inspired. So I write another, we're gonna win, blah blah blah, right? And he's like, okay, this is better, but I think you can do better. I again, I'm not sure I buy that people are going to go to um, to their deaths after hearing this speech, right? And now I'm kind of like done with him because I know nothing I write is going to be good enough. So I just go to Henry V. I copy the St. Crispin's Day speech, which is arguably the greatest speech to the troops in history, right? It's Shakespeare. Shakespeare wrote the best stirring speech to get the troops to go into battle ever. So I take that and I basically I change St. Crispin's Day to a different day, and I change the these and thous to regular modern language. And St. Crispin's Day, good, go. Tell me it's not good enough, and I will tell you Shakespeare's not good enough for you. What the hell?
It'd be really funny if he actually said it wasn't good enough.
Right? So he's I don't hear. And the next meeting, he's like, yeah, that was fine. So I sent it to the publisher. Right? So then we have a meeting with the publisher, and which is THQ, and the guy who's in charge of the of us is like, we're going through things, and he's like, are we really going with the St. Crispin's Day speech there? Because he apparently was an English major and he recognized it immediately, but my boss didn't. And I'm like, no, that's kind of a placeholder. It's and of course my boss is immediately like, Oh yeah, I recognized that. I just wanted to see what you thought.
I'd say that's the boss's problem.
So I wrote a different thing that pulled from St. Crispin's Day, but it wasn't full on plagiarism of Shakespeare. Because if you're going to plagiarize, you probably shouldn't plagiarize Shakespeare because people tend to know it. But I didn't expect it to go that far. I was trying to prove a point to my boss. So
It was a prank that went too far.
yes, basically. So so that's fun. Okay, I wanted to turn over the class at the beginning this time. And when you guys are done, I will talk some. Hopefully you won't take up the whole class. Is Gabe here? Where's Gabe?
How much time do we get?
I don't know. Go, let's say 15 minutes.
All right. Is Jack here? No. Jack? No, not here. Okay.
Yes, I am. Sorry, I just needed
Okay.
a second to get to my microphone button.
No problem.
Hello.
Would
Hi.
you mind
Conversation.
going over the story in the next 5 minutes, and then I'll take over from there?
Sure. I actually have to just quickly pull that document up. All right. So, all right, I'll just start from the top. First off, the sidekick, a man by the name of James Jim Collins, is a historian slash like restorationist who is researching the grave of Ephraim Gray. He is investigating it and finds that there's someone different in it. So he posts about it on Twitter, but doesn't really like make a big deal out of it. He sort of just says, wow, this is one crazy thing that I found in my research among like a bunch of other tweets that he's made. And in that tweet, there's a picture of like the graveyard, and there's a QR code or some sort of link to his own his own web page that describes like what he's researching and stuff. And on that page is a link to the Discord chat that we are going to make for the ARG for everyone to like chat on and communicate on. From there, by the way, I believe we're going to use MySpace for their personal page. Those achievement points are useful. From there, the next day, the sidekick will send a Discord message to everyone saying that he found a puzzle on the body and that he was looking to gather some help to decipher it. And once the players decipher the name of the organization that's written on the puzzle, it'll be either like a small scrap of paper hidden in the pocket of the person in the grave or like something on their clothes. They can tell that like the name of it to the sidekick, who will find the organization's website and give it to the players. By the way, the name of it is the Gray Objectivist Developmental Sciences. stands for gods. We are not overt at all, I promise. From there, players can go to the website and read up on what they're doing. They're like a sort of like a futuristic-y, forward-thinking medical research facility that looks into like anti-aging and life extending medicines and stuff. And it also has a location on it of their lab that the players can send to the sidekick, who will go there in person and will give them the results from that investigation the next day. And when they return with the results from their in-person investigation, they get pictures through a window, or they sneak into the facility and they're able to see some files, one of which is a picture of Ephraim's face and a file on his last known location. And it also has like a sticky note with basic credentials to log into the like employee side of the website. And on there, there's files on like ways they've attempted to contact Ephraim and a phone number, which they've said that they've called but is totally dead. And if the players call it, it's dead for that day. But the next day, if they call it, they'll begin to get an auto response, which is just Ephraim, or at least some guy, from what they can tell, responding calmly and telling the players or whoever calls that, like, just general, oh, I'm not here right now, I'm away, sorry, can't respond. But in the background of it, the call, there would be some sort of code, like a beeping or some sort of audio fluctuation that can be decoded, maybe with Morse code or something, that contains a secret message that says that Ephraim is on the run from the organization and is unable to provide any help, but he's able to give the players an admin login to the website so that they're able to get deeper in and find out more things about it. With that admin password, they're able to get a lot of new media and text from the website, including a broken video file that contains footage of Ephraim surviving a fatal injury, and like a file that explains that that's how they found him, and it might contain some visual clues for later. Getting that logging in results in the organization realizing that they've been breached. And so the next day, they actually find the sidekick's house and kidnap them. But the sidekick protects the players by cutting contact with them, so they aren't able to find the players. But before he does, he messages them that they're under threat. From there, the goddess character, who we sort of bobbled about, but we decided it was the sidekick's fiance. logs into the Sidekick's account and helps the players to break the Sidekick out of the organization's personal like jail area. And they do that by way of helping to activate the security questions on one of the employees' accounts at the organization. And through that, the players can look at the prior files that they've had access to, and they can answer those security questions with little hints in the prior files that they've had access to on the organization website. From there, they actually need to, now that they're inside of the jail system, they need to break the Sidekick out, where they will need to manipulate the URL or find some sort of thing hidden in the HTML code to find the correct cell and disable security for it. And that leads into the final day, where the Sidekick escapes from the inside of the organization hideout, and on their way, they take a hard drive full of incriminating evidence. But however, when they were put in the jail, they had a chip implanted in them. Luckily, they're able to get the source code of the chip, but it's extremely incomprehensible, and only by referring to previous files can you find hints to specific lines in the code to find the ways to disable the chip. And by disabling the chip, it also gives the Sidekick the ability to unencrypt the hard drive that they escaped with, so that they can give it to journalists and or authorities, which is Dean, by the way. So that's how we'd end it, by giving the hard drive contents to Dean. If they fail to do it by 7 p.m., then the chip in the Sidekick activates and they are killed, and the evil organization tracks down Ephraim and escapes, and the players fail. Optionally, there is an extra win condition where there's an extremely challenging puzzle hidden in the chip's source code, where if the players are able to solve it, Ephraim not only escapes the organization, but truly disappears from the internet, and all traces of him are destroyed. So he can also escape the government, who might also want to experiment on him. And that's the entire story. Thank you.
Okay.
Any
Dean,
other comments?
Dean, do I have a screen share capability?
Maybe. Have you tried?
Well, let's try. Okay, so
Yeah.
I made everybody join this Trello board last week or earlier this week, whatever it was. The time is a facade. So this is a Trello board if you haven't ever seen one before. Basically, it's just a way to keep track of every task or whatnot that you have inside of a project. So it's set up with 5 different tabs: backlog, what's assigned, stuff that's being worked in progress, stuff that needs to be reviewed, stuff that's blocked, and stuff that's completed. So from the story, now that we have it all done, I went through and I created a giant list of things that need to be done. The colors on them represent the different groupings of work that we have. So anything that's green, writing's involved, anything that's yellow, art's involved, anything orange, community management involved, so on and so on. So at the end of today, or at the end of this class, the team leads are going to be meeting, and I'll be explaining this a little bit more in depth to them. But they'll be using this Trello board to assign you guys tasks and like put you on certain things. And we'll be monitoring progress and figuring out where everything is headed this way. So just to give a little quick overview of how it all works. Say I'm on art and I'm in charge of one of the character profile pictures. I will put my name onto the card and drag it over to assigned. Then once I start working on it, put it in progress. If at any point you have, for some reason, you can't finish it, put it in the blocked, open it up, and write some sort of comment saying, this is blocked. And Riker and I's job is basically just to monitor this as well as work with the team leads to figure out how everything's going, who needs what, what's waiting on what, and so on and so forth. So I implore you, if you haven't actually looked at your Trello board since you've joined, to hop on it, just play around with it a little bit, see how everything works. It's pretty straightforward. The UI is very simple to use. But yeah, we're definitely going to expect everybody to actually have assignments assigned to them by the end of today after the team leads meeting. I think that's pretty much everything I have. Riker, do you have anything? Are you here? Actually, no.
Oh yeah, I'm chilling. I mean, you got everything covered. Jack did a pretty good job explaining the story. Yeah, everyone's good.
All right, so in that sense, I will open it up to any questions that you guys might have. If not, then Dean can take over.
Woohoo!
There you go.
Okay, so I want to talk about something that doesn't, well, I want to talk about tone. Okay, and tone is doesn't necessarily have to change your story, but it changes how your story is delivered, right? So two movies about the same thing. One was called Annabelle. It's about a haunted doll. And one is called Child's Play, also about a haunted doll. One is deadly serious. The haunted doll ruins people's lives. And one is goofy as hell, where the Chucky runs around with a knife and stabs people's ankles, right? They're both still horror genre, right? But one has a serious tone and one has a more silly tone. People die in both. But the idea with Child's Play is that it's kind of the beer and pretzels horror, where you drink beer and you go, look at that, rather than, oh, I'm so scared. Oh, right. So one of the things you should do is define the tone of your ARG, because you can have a wacky, silly ARG, or you can have a deadly serious conspiracy theory ARG, and it doesn't change the story, right? All your story can be deadly serious, and still be exactly what Jack outlined, or it can be whimsical and wacky and still be exactly what Jack outlined. Right. So one of the things and we've had in the past problems of tone where one group is in one kind of story and another group is in another kind of story, and so uh the sidekick um is in a comedy and the mentor is in a horror movie. um and it you're like, wait, what's happening here, right, as a player, because you don't know how to react with everything. That's not to say you can't have comedy in something that's deadly serious, or something that's deadly serious in the middle of a comedy. I look at Twin Peaks as um it's incredibly creepy and weird, and then you've got a beauty pageant in season 2 where just stupid stuff is happening, or you know there's this horrible murder of a teenage girl, and there's a woman running around cradling a log, and she's known as the log lady, and she talks to her log and tells prophecies that were told to her by the log, right? Um, Both can exist together, but even that is like, something is really off in this town. Everybody just treats the log lady like she's a normal person, and takes her prophecies seriously. Is that, are they just humoring her, or what's going on here? So it becomes part of the overall tone. So um I want to play, I also artists, um one of the ways you set a tone is to set a color palette, right? Writers, one of the ways you set a tone is just a bunch, just say we're going deadly serious. This is hardcore conspiracy theory, the most scary X-Files episodes you can imagine. Or we're trying for a lighter tone of ET, right? Again, it's science, but it is, the tone of ET is very scary, but it's innocent and um, uh, childlike, right? And I go back to, and I don't want to just say serious or funny. There are lots of different axes you can define tone on. So Studio Ghibli movies are generally about childhood, right? Um, and but the Studio Ghibli made both My Neighbor Totoro and Grave of the Fireflies, right? Um, and I don't know if you know this, but they were originally a double feature. Um, and if you're familiar with Grave of the Fireflies, um, it is not a happy movie. Uh, it is about the end of World War II in Japan. It opens with the firebombing of a Japanese town, and these children watch their mother burn to death, and it goes downhill from there. Um, so it's both are animated features. um uh, Totoro is two little girls move to the countryside and encounter woodland spirits and find magic and whimsy in nature, right? um they get on a bus that's a cat, right? But think about this, it was original, Riker, it was originally the second in a double feature. So you've got to live with the horror of Grave of the Fireflies. You got to get through that. Um, and then you get to Totoro and you get to feel good. But from what I've read, not many people stayed for Totoro after Grave of the Fireflies because they're just sobbing. My wife came in the middle of Grave of the Fireflies and she's like, "What are you watching?" And I'm like, "It's a Studio Ghibli movie, but you should not watch it. It will make you feel bad." And she kept watching it, and she was just sobbing by the end and going, "Why did you make me watch that?" And I'm like, "I warned you. I warned you." So, so artists, if you define a color palette, that helps define the tone. You can make your art, design your websites and such around a specific look and feel, right? Another thing you do is collect reference material to say it is not this, but the feeling that you get from this picture is what we want the feel of our ARG to be. So number one, talk to each other, writers, artists, even gameplay and producers, and make sure that you're all on the same page in terms of tone. And oh dear, Eli, is that true? I don't know. Maybe. Okay. So oh, okay. It could be. It could be. I don't know. Anyway, so talk to each other. And the big thing is making sure you're all on the same page, and somewhere that is accessible to all. Make sure that if people aren't sure, is this in keeping with the tone of the ARG, this thing that I made or am about to make, that they can check in, right? That they can go look at the reference board, look at the color palette, and look at the description that the writers write of, we are doing a whimsical comedy in the vein of Groundhog Day, right? Or we are doing a hard-hitting action thing in the vein of Edge of Tomorrow, or what was that? Live, Die, Repeat, the Tom Cruise pew pew, but they're both about waking up over and over and doing the same day over and over, right? So plot-wise, same movie, not really, but at least high concept-wise, same movie, totally different tones. Gameplay. I want to show another piece of this of the Jejun Institute and talk about this. Okay. So I'm going to share this. Do I have time? Yeah, I have time. Share screen, ba-bang. Share computer sound, optimize screen for video clip. Share. Can everybody see the picture? Let me get chat.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
I can at least.
Okay. I'm going to make it full screen. Somebody say yes or no in the chat when I start the sound. Can you hear the sound?
Agency. Now, back
Yeah,
to
we can hear it.
Thank you.
program.
Monday got to work and I had an email sent to an email address I don't use a whole lot, and it was from the Elsewhere Public Works Agency asking me to be at a certain intersection by the payphones. It was 24th and Mission at noon. So eventually I got a call on my cell phone from Commander 14 checking in and saying that that the Jejun Institute was moving in, or something about the green energy archons. I don't remember what he said.
The closure of a temporal vacuole is imminent. Repeat, imminent. Without physical jamming to offset transneural interference, a negative loop cascade sequence could be initiated. Do you see 24th Street?
Yeah.
cross mission and continue down 24th. I will be making contact at that location in 5 minutes' time. When I say ornithopter, you say jumpsuit. Ornithopter.
Jumpsuit.
Ornithopter.
Jumpsuit.
Okay, now go. Hurry.
Okay, so first off there, I guarantee you that this, well, I don't guarantee, it's very likely that they picked a phone bank of payphones, and this was 2008, something like that, 2010. You guys don't even know about payphones anymore, right? But in this case, they said go to this, they gave them an email, said go to this address or this corner and wait for my call, intending on calling those payphones, but many payphones do not accept incoming calls because drugs. When there were payphones, drug dealers would stand by payphones. You'd call the payphone and order your drugs or make a deal or whatever. At least this was what they told us why they were doing this. And then you, I don't know, go have your drugs. And the fact that payphones were used meant it was deniable. Officer, I don't, that wasn't me on the phone. It wasn't my phone. You can't prove it was me, right? So the phone company, at the behest of the government, stopped many payphones from accepting incoming calls. So when the Jejune Institute says, that was a weird ding, says, hey, go to this payphone, and then they try and call it, and it turns out it doesn't accept incoming calls. So they have to come up with another plan. Luckily, they have collected the cell phone numbers of these people at some previous time, because these are the hardcore of the hardcore, and they improvise and call the cell phone and then send them somewhere else. So let's keep watching. This payphone does accept incoming calls.
Ornithopter.
Jumpsuit.
Ornithopter.
Jumpsuit.
Now we can get this transaction rolling. The time is nigh. Now, listen quickly. Dance. You heard me. Dance. I say dance.
Dance. Okay.
It is imperative that you now dance. I hope you dance. This interaction cannot happen without rigorous physical jamming. Now get off this phone and dance, motherfucker!
We needed to stop the energy attack by rigorous physical jamming, which is what we did. So I started dancing, and then I started hearing music, and this guy showed up with a boombox, and he started dancing with me, and then a Sasquatch showed up, and he started dancing with us. And there was a moment that the song ended, and we heard what sounded like angels singing, and the Sasquatch gave me the transcript. Which, that's a very weird thing to say, but that happened.
Okay, so we heard angels singing, and then the Sasquatch gave me the transcript. How cool is that? Right? um, I would love for Angels to Sing and the Sasquatch to give me the transcript. Simple. So what happened? You had to show up at a certain place, answer a phone call. When I say ornithopter, you say jumpsuit. Ornithopter, jumpsuit. Ornithopter, jumpsuit. Right? All sorts of fun there. And then dancing is fun. So all you people who are too cool to dance, and I have been you, dancing is fun. Dancing leads to dopamine. So there was a whole game called Top Secret Dance Off, where they asked you to dance. I have 2 minutes. I'm going to show you the video of Top Secret Dance Off, which I didn't find in time for let's see. Yeah, all I got. So this is bad quality video, but I'm going to share it with you. The whole thing was that the game asked you to dance first alone, next in a car, next in a crosswalk, and upload videos of you dancing, and then people would give you ratings and you'd get points for the different ratings you got, and it continued. So let me share this. Share.
Things you're seeing in this trailer. First of all, your first mission is you have to create an avatar for yourself. You are your own walking avatar, but you have to cover your face in some way. So we wanted to remove one of the social barriers to posting dancing videos of yourself on the internet.
Meaning that people are afraid that their bosses or
Yeah,
their future employers or people that they want to have some kind of social barrier with might see that and hold it against them.
Right, or even just in a way when you slip on the mask, it just frees you from who you think you have to be. And then what they're doing is they're leveling up in these skills, and the idea was you can be a really powerful member of this top secret dance-off even if you are not a good dancer, right? If you're really into it, you can power up in exuberance even if you're technically not good.
So this is interesting because there's this whole sort of social phenomenon right now, American Idol and you know, Who's Got Talent, and the idea being that the only people who can sort of rise in competition around music or art are people who have technical skill, whatever that's recognized as. And it's a different kind of reward system.
Yeah, and the way you get points is totally subjective based on other people. So, you know, one place I don't like online a lot is YouTube because of the comments culture. It is toxic. And one of the neuroscience findings that I'm using.
Okay, so so they found a way for bad dancers to excel at a game about dancing. Kind of cool, kind of awesome. This went on for a while. So I just want to let you know that everything doesn't have to be a puzzle. I love puzzles. I will be doing puzzles until I can't do puzzles anymore, apparently. But apparently, the more puzzles you do, the less likely you are to get Alzheimer's or dementia because you're working the little gray cells, right? So I have a book called The Maze of Games that I'm planning on working on all summer. It's as big as like a Dungeon Master's Guide. See, it's just full of puzzles. I am out of time. Keep working. You guys seem to be doing really great. You seem very organized and on top of things. And I can't wait. Like, honest to God, every year I'm surprised because I can never tell if the organized ARG is amazing, but then the disorganized one pulls it out and is inspired somehow. And it always seems to, like, I feel like I know where everything is going in, and then something happens in the middle, and either everything goes to hell because the organized one was too rigid, warning, and your players want to break out, or the disorganized one just does something so magical. And I'm not saying you're disorganized, well, you're organized, but be open to magic, I guess. See what happens.
We have a surprise. We're gonna change our rabbit hole like the weekend before, so that way you're on the meeting, and we've already got a huge plan. Don't worry, it's gonna be great.
Okay, that's fine. Honestly, did I tell you the story about how I got maybe Friday night scotch drinking and played the ARG, even though they had explained all the puzzles to me already, and I felt bad, but I had forgotten because, just saying. Anyway, it was it's not against the law to drink and operate a computer, apparently. So I will, tomorrow we do not have class. It is project presentation day. Go to project presentation day, because someday you will be presenting unless you are presenting a project in project presentation day, but someday you will be presenting during project presentation day. IMGD project presentation day starts at 11 a.m. tomorrow, goes to about 3. We have a lot of MQPs to get to. An email should have gone out to all students with the Zoom code. I don't know. There's no Zoom link. There's a code. I don't even know what to do with that, but I guess I'll figure it out tomorrow. And support everybody else's MQPs, because they worked really hard in making these things, and especially this year under adverse circumstances, and they made some really cool stuff. So I guess I could plop, let's see, no, that's not it. Project presentation day, that's HUA's project presentation day. Where is it? I don't know. I can't find it. Okay. Well, now I want to tell you, project presentation. Okay. IMGD project presentation day. No, that's the wrong one. No, that's the wrong one. IMGD. No, that's the wrong one. That's grads. Here it is. Okay. He has given out here. I'm gonna, this is the information that I have. 11 a.m. this Friday, 30th of April, Zoom ID, and then some numbers. I don't know. I always just click on links. I don't know how those numbers work. So
if you go to wpi.zoom.us and then go to, once you sign in, you can join, and then you type in those numbers. It'll bring you to the Zoom meeting.
Okay. Well, copy and paste them.
Yeah.
Now.
Oh no.
Well, speaking about Zoom,
yeah.
Team leads, I'm sending you a Zoom link in our channel. Hop in it right after Dean ends this, and everyone else gets to work. Use your free time tomorrow to do some ARG stuff.
Okay, cool. I'm bopping in and out of the Discord as things appear. I'm not always there late at night, and I know you guys do.
Yeah, I don't have a Zoom.
But okay, have a good weekend. See you on
Bye.
Monday.